Manchester United's troublemaking former players must play their part in Erik ten Hag's cultural reset. Gary Neville feels sorry for him, Paul Scholes thinks it will take him at least 5 years to turn them around, and Rio Ferdinand's got a 6-point plan for him to transform the club's fortunes. Erik ten Hag was appointed less than 7 days ago, but the Dutchman's already been given a whirlwind taste of a week in the life of a Manchester United manager. Facing constant scrutiny comes with the territory at Manchester United, but the 52-year-old could be forgiven for wondering exactly what he's got himself into by agreeing to take charge at the Theatre of Dreams. He's yet to even speak to his new squad, but already ten Hag's credentials have been questioned, and his ability to revive the club doubted by former United players. Last weekend's defeat to Arsenal perfectly encapsulated the task that awaits ten Hag, and only part of that was because of the dismal result on the pitch. A 3-1 loss ended United's top 4 hopes, and the defending throughout at the Emirates underlined the Dutchman's need to strengthen the squad. But the fallout from the defeat shows that it will be just as important for ten Hag to keep a handle on what happens off the pitch if he's to stand any chance at the club. Speaking to Premier League Productions after the game, Scholes broke Jesse Lingard's trust by revealing that the midfielder had told him that the dressing room was a disaster. "It's an absolute mess. It's a disaster of a dressing room. I had a quick chat with Jesse Lingard the other day, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying. He said the dressing room was a disaster." In Scholes' defense, he has since apologized and revealed that Lingard was far from pleased with his slip of the tongue, but the damage had already been done. The result should have been bad enough, but Ralf Rangnick and his players then had to field questions about the disastrous dressing room, which prompted an emotional interview from Scott McTominay about the problems higher up at the club. The coverage of United since has revolved around the supposed state of the dressing room, and ten Hag was even asked about his new side's defeat at the Emirates following Ajax's win against NEC on Saturday evening. If the Dutchman wasn't already aware that he was walking into a soap opera, then he will be now. United have finally appointed a coach with the right credentials, who possesses a philosophy more closely aligned with what Pep Guardiola has instilled at rivals Manchester City. But already there are fears that he won't be given time to succeed at the Theatre of Dreams, with Ruud Gullit claiming United legends like Neville and Ferdinand are putting too much pressure on him. "I follow the media in England and I have already concluded that ten Hag will not get the time to change things. Rio Ferdinand has put the pressure on, Gary Neville has done it, all the papers will be onto him. I have lived and worked in England. The first club all the media look at and talk about is United. Ajax are by far the biggest club in the Netherlands, but ten Hag won't have experienced anything like the constant dissection that United managers are subjected to. But should United managers simply have to shoulder that burden? That scrutiny distracted Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho, with both angered by the criticism of former players in the media. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, on the other hand, was largely shielded from that criticism, but that riled supporters who felt that he was not given the same treatment because he was a former teammate of theirs. What's clear is that the day-to-day drama at Old Trafford is becoming an increasing problem, to the point where as many as a dozen players are said to want to leave this summer. But contrast the chaos at Old Trafford with serenity and ruthless efficiency down T Road at Anfield. Jurgen Klopp controls the media with the sort of authoritarianism that Ferguson deployed during his reign at the club. Press conferences are rarely exciting, with the German wary not to give easy soundbites away. Doing so is made easier because of Liverpool's results on the pitch, but work off it contributes to what happens on a Saturday, and Ferguson was acutely aware of that. Consider, too, the contrasting fortunes of Fabinho and Donny van de Beek at their respective clubs. Both joined amid considerable excitement, but Van de Beek quickly became a victim of the cauldron of pressure at United. Despite Ole Gunnar Solskjaer relentlessly insisting that the £34 million midfielder would get more chances in the starting side, his absence from the side quickly became a distraction earlier this term. The Dutchman subsequently joined Everton on loan in January after begging Rangnick for more playing time, and he faces an uncertain future at Old Trafford. But Fabinho, unlike Van de Beek, was given a period of adaptation at Liverpool. He made just 21 Premier League starts in his debut season after being largely overlooked at the start of the campaign. But a year after his arrival from Monaco, he was a nailed-on starter, having been given the time and space needed to adjust to a new league, a new system and a new manager. Only the calmness and control exuded by Klopp made that possible, and it's not hard to imagine Fabinho failing at Old Trafford because of the spotlight. Scholes wasn't lying when he said the dressing room was a disaster, with deep divides between segregated groups. But the relentless stream of negativity is as draining as the bad results, with Ralph Rangnick admitting last week that his players were void of confidence and self-belief. 2 decades of success under Sir Alex Ferguson has given a generation of supporters the expectation of silverware, and there can be no denying that United have fallen short of demands in recent years. But perspective is needed, particularly from consistently damning former players. United are up against 2 of the finest teams in Premier League history, and behind them are the current Champions League holders. Jose Mourinho shuts down question about Man United's move for Erik ten Hag. Jose Mourinho surprised Man United signed defensive flop and wanted 4 players instead. John Barnes urges former Chelsea star to join Arsenal. It would be fantastic. Tammy Abraham mocks Bodo Glimt after former Chelsea star equals Roma record. The criticism has often been warranted, but a new regime should be given time and space to implement their ideas. Building the players' confidence up again will be no small task, and it will take patience from the playing squad to stick with Ten Hag's ideas if he doesn't instantly hit the ground running. Ten Hag will soon realize that there is no happy medium at Old Trafford. There have been as many false dawns since Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement as there have been disasters. Solskjaer guided the club to second and a Europa League final last season, only to be sacked 5 months later, while Jose Mourinho was shown the door just 4 months after finishing second and reaching the FA Cup final. The only chance United have of succeeding under Ten Hag is shutting out the noise. With club legends like these, that's easier said than done. More. Peter Schmeichel gives verdict on Erik ten Hag's Man United appointment. For more stories like this, check our sport page. Follow Metro Sport for the latest news on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.